I have no idea. It's on. Welcome to Life is Hard podcast. My face is frozen on screen, so I have no
you're
idea.
fine. You're not frozen. You're good.
Things are going off in the background. Life is hard, and that's why we've had to kind of modify how we normally do things and do things this way for today.
Yes.
So you get to see us and the trashedness of our abodes, at least mine. You get to see somebody you get to see somebody endorse a certain brand of whiskey, apparently.
Yeah. So life is even harder when you're trying to run a democracy without democracy, because
Not hard for them. They know exactly what they're doing. Clinton's a nominee. It doesn't matter who you vote for.
the old adage that institutions protect themselves is proven itself true yet again. So it's not just who they voted for. It's not just that the superdelegates voted for Clinton. It's that they exist.
Oh, absolutely.
We keep saying we have a democracy, but yet every turn in this democracy, there's something to subvert it, whether it be the money thing, the superdelegates, the delegates, period. Why not just take the popular vote? Why not just say, hey, even if you have it district by district, whoever gets the popular vote gets the district, right?
Sure.
It should be that fucking simple.
I thought you just knocked that out.
No. So
Spilled whiskey everywhere.
yeah, that would be cool. I could.
Oh yeah,
I could pour it down my shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the superdelegate thing is ridiculous. Why do we have superdelegates? And of course we have the Electoral College when it comes to electing the president, and you can't actually get an independent president because the Electoral College, even though it takes votes away from one of the other candidates, you can't actually elect them because they can't get Electoral College votes, right? The whole fucking system is rigged to protect the institution or the system, the system itself. It's very frustrating.
What Bernie Sanders is running against and why he will definitely not be president.
Obviously, he's not going to get the institutional votes. Yeah,
I don't think he's going to get the nomination at all because the Clinton and all the other institutional beings are going to fight to make Clinton the nominee because she won't bring it down.
Well, I mean, they gave her Iowa. Iowa was a close call, and I still haven't figured out how they didn't just go, oh, Bernie got more votes here and she got more votes there. Instead, they're like, well, it was really close, so we'll pick Hillary.
Well, yeah, six coin tosses.
Yeah, that was
six random 50-50 shots.
Why do you do a coin toss?
Hillary won all six.
I don't believe for 1 minute that there was a tie in the vote. It was close. But here's the logic they probably used. This is what I'm thinking. I hate to put words in their mouth, but I'm thinking they're sitting there going, well, Bernie's popular with the kids. He brought out a great, but if all the people who loved, Hillary had shown up, she would have taken a majority. So we'll just give it to her because we know what the voters really wanted.
And maybe they said that.
Maybe
I saw a video of the coin flip.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. Well, one coin flip at least. And I saw the people that were backing Clinton get excited when it landed, and people that back Sanders not so excited when it landed. But I mean, you've got
I got a coin.
A 50-50 shot.
Oh, I got better than that. Watch. Hold on. I'm flipping a coin. If you win, then I'll buy you lunch. And if I win, well, you don't have to buy me lunch. Okay, so hold on.
And my heads are tails.
Well, your tails. And you lost.
Well, because it just came up heads.
That's exactly right.
5 more times.
No, because I don't know how it'll come up next time.
Do it 5 more times.
I intentionally didn't tell you whether your heads or tails until that's why I said I know I can win this.
I get it.
There's too many ways to rig this. I mean, there's, first of all, you can't even tell. I could just lie to you. I could just say, up came up, heads again. It didn't, but I could say that and you'd never know. The whole thing is stupid. You count the fucking votes. The one who gets the most wins. That's a democracy.
Right.
Not the people don't really know what they want. It was a close vote. Let's flip a coin. Flip a coin? What? What the fuck's a coin got to do with democracy? Anyway, I know it wasn't a tie. I'll guarantee it. I would bet lunch on that. Anyway, so back to the other point. I don't know. We probably don't want to discuss the negative interest thing. I just thought it was funny that I was listening to the news and they were saying the economy is poor in Asia, so some countries have implemented a negative interest rate. So you actually lose money on your savings account because they want you to take the money out and spend it.
This is other countries now.
This is Japan and some other country. I can't remember which other one it was, but they're Asian countries.
Right, because they want you to take your money out of the bank and spend it. Yeah, I'm not sure that's good or bad, because I don't necessarily want the banks to have the money either. We don't want to make the banks more powerful.
This is easy to say if you don't have a savings account, but those of us who do have savings accounts would prefer to get some interest on them. You know, the bank should pay me. They're using my money. They're holding it. They're not holding. Like, if all I wanted was for the bank to keep my money safe, there's other ways I could do that.
Right.
I could just give it to some. No, it's not. So, okay, before we get off on something heavy like gravity, because we got to discuss this thing the physicists discovered today was awesome. Well, they didn't discover
gravity.
Today.
They discovered gravity today.
Yes, they did. They discovered gravity today.
Discovered it.
No, it's not. They announced it today. They
announced gravity today.
Yes, they actually discovered it in September, but they were holding out on us because they didn't want to weigh us down. No, they had to check their facts, but. That notwithstanding, I saw some guy today driving along in a Jeep with a sticker on the back that said, "Life is good." Okay, I'm like, he got that. Good. I just ran him off the road. I just, I just came up alongside of him, I waved at him, and ran him off the road. Kept going.
Yeah, you were probably drinking the Jack Daniels there while you were doing it too.
Right? All day long. This started out full today.
Yep. Awesome.
So, so back to the heavy gravity thing. This is pretty cool. I'm a science geek, so I always get excited about this shit. So they've got these detectors, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and the way they detect gravity fluctuation or gravity waves, rather, is they've got laser beams that run down tubes and then bounce back, and there's a splitter, so the same laser beam goes off on a perpendicular tube, and bounces back, and if they bounce back without being altered in any way, without anything, changing, deflecting them in any way or anything, then they exactly cancel each other out. When they come back, the two beams meet and they cancel each other out completely. So, and I'm not quite sure. I guess that's how.
And what does that mean when that happens?
That's good. That means nothing. It means nothing has moved. Nothing has caused a perturbation in the beam or the pipe or anything. Right? Everything is perfectly stable and rock solid. I know it's kind of like, to me, it's all foreign too, because I was just reading about this today, but it's cool. So when something fluctuates or vibrates or whatever, then these beams, one of them will get off just a tiny bit and a photon will escape into a photon detector, and they know that they can measure this and they can decide something. And they also are measuring like vibrations on the planet so that they can remove the noise, because the noise level is really significant. I'm putting you to sleep, aren't I? God, I hate that one.
No, the coffee's not working yet.
Yeah, well, the background noise is a big deal because these things, these gravity waves are so hard to detect that you can't pick them out of the background noise.
I don't understand the point though. Gravity waves and detect.
Oh, they proved Einstein's theory.
Okay.
This is a big deal. Okay, so the waves that they detected was from two black holes that were spinning, sucking into each other, and they're spinning around like in the toilet, Okay. They're actually up to 75 revolutions per second, and these things are gigantic. Like, they're 30 times the mass of our sun. So imagine 75, orbits per second at 30 times. Each one is about 30 times the size of our sun. And then eventually they collapse in on each other, and it created this. First of all, it's creating these waves going out like this. It's like a giant blender, right? It's like sending out waves, but then the actual collision caused a spike that they picked up, and anyway, so they picked this up. It's important. I know it's like really like fluffy, like who gives a shit? You can't tell these things are there. Like, even with a super accurate detector, you still can hardly tell they're there. But the point is that Einstein theorized that gravity was a wave. Okay. And this matters because what that means is that large bodies, massive bodies, actually bend time and space, or space time. Yeah, they bend these waves. So if gravity's not a wave, then some other things don't work, and we can't travel through time if gravity's not a wave. We must have waves.
But we can now. We can travel through time now.
Yeah, I'm actually doing it right now.
Yeah, there's my son in the background in case anyone was wondering.
Hello, son.
Welcome to the Life is Hard podcast.
We all need more sun in our lives.
Yes.
I think I commented one of the videos where I said I think Cool Kid Vance need to jump into this podcast.
Yeah, well, Cool Kid Vance is jumping into the podcast, as you see. I just noticed that it's showing me a mirror image, apparently.
Yeah.
It's backwards.
Well, that's not cool.
Hello,
Well,
everyone that is listening to the podcast.
All right. Nice to see you.
I would say hello, but I'm not listening.
See you later.
Yeah. I should probably. No, he's
Well,
not watching.
that was unexpected.
Another. Well, hey, we just used up. Yeah, there you go.
We're live. What can we do? You know,
Well, I know I keep bringing up heavy topics, and I'm sorry about that. But
heavy gravitational.
well, this
You're going to have to explain to me like I'm a 2-year-old because I do not understand what you're saying or what difference it makes. Other than it sounds cool that we could travel through time.
I'm not sure it really makes a difference, but if we're ever going to be able to cross large distances in the universe, we're going to have to be able to use this whole bending of time and space thing. Kind of like in the Dune book, where they folded space.
I'm not familiar with that book either.
You didn't read Dune? Okay, well. And they made a movie. They made several movies from Dune, but
yes, I heard there was a movie and I didn't watch that either.
that was actually good compared to the movie I watched last night, which sucked. By the way, if I really hated somebody and wanted to do terrible things to them, I would still not tie them to a railroad track and make them watch the movie I watched last night. It was
What is that?
Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen it?
I only saw it. That's the latest one, right?
Yeah.
I only saw parts of it, but the parts of it that I saw were so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
thought of you when I saw the guitarist on the front of the truck with the wall of speakers.
I don't remember him, but
Oh, you missed out. You really missed out. That was the only. I think that was their attempt at comic relief, and it didn't work.
I know that the Mad Max when I was a child had, what's her name? The singer. Proud Mary and all that.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Tina Turner.
Tina Turner. Yeah. She's I get it.
She was the best part because of the soundtrack, like
I took the cap off that time.
all we want is life beyond the Thunderdome. That's all I know of Mad Max. That's the best part.
Actually, I like the first one. That was the second one, Beyond Thunderdome. I like the first one is not even one that ever made the theaters. The original Mad Max movie came before Road Warrior.
Before they had theaters.
It was before the apocalypse. The original Mad Max was because the Road Warrior is after the apocalypse. It's when everything has gone, to shit. But in the first one, it's actually like a normal, kind of like a high crime society type thing. Like towards the end of towards the getting onto the apocalypse, but not after the apocalypse. You've got Mad Max as a cop in the first one. Yeah. And he drives a really souped up car, and he's kind of like the interceptor cop, right? They've got some guy who's gone rogue, kind of like Sarah Palin. And yeah, exactly. And he's cruising down the road with his girlfriend, and he's going, "Ah!" And he's like all, he's got this, he stole a cop car. He killed a cop and stole a cop car. He stole one of their fast cars. So then you got Mad Max in his super fast souped up car that just came out of the shop, and it's got the blower. It's the car that he has in Road Warrior at the beginning. But anyway, it's got the blower and shit. It's awesome. It's when they started up in the shop, it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like really awesome. Anyway, he's sitting there. The guy goes flying by. Mad Max is sitting there smoking a cigarette in the car, watching the guy go down the road, going, yeah, give him a couple minutes. And then he pulls out and boom, takes off and catches up to the guy. And the guy looks in his rearview mirror and he sees Mad Max coming up on him. He's like, oh shit, right? Anyway,
And this was Mel Gibson at this point?
yeah, it was Mel Gibson. It was the first ever, and it was like, I don't think it ever came out at theaters. It might have, but if it did, it was before you or I were born. It goes back to the beginning of time. Yeah, it's old.
Well,
I had it on VHS tape.
and it was Mel Gibson?
Yeah. Oh, he's
Yeah, it
old.
wasn't before.
Oh no! See, that's where this whole bending space and time thing comes in. So anyway, yeah, the first one wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't a great movie. It only had a few characters in it. Mel Gibson, has a run-in with some gangsters. They end up raping and killing his wife and child. Well, they don't rape his child, but they rape his wife and kill her, and then kill his child. And that's why he becomes Mad Max, right? That's the whole. But if you don't get the backstory, then Road Warrior kind of starts out with, you don't really see much. But he is haunted by his past in all the movies. But this last one,
the second one.
The second one is Road Warrior. The third one is Beyond Thunderdome. But he's always haunted by his past, right? That's why he always leaves. They offer him. They say, "You can stay with us," and he's like, "No, it's okay. I'm just gonna go wander the desert alone because it's all I deserve." He's a tragic character, and in the beginning it kind of worked, but now like this last movie was just so bad. I had to watch it to the end to see if it redeemed itself, and I was like, "Oh my god."
We should just forget the Life is Hard podcast. We're just going to do movie reviews.
Only bad movie reviews.
Yeah, we'll be like anti-Siskel and anti-Ebert.
Yeah.
Un-Siskel and anti-Ebert.
Thumbs down. Yeah. 2 thumbs down. We never do thumbs up. It's just if you're not too terrible, you get no thumbs down.
How about we do thumbs down or fingers up?
Which would be worse?
Right, exactly.
They're all bad.
This movie wasn't so bad, so we give it 1 thumbs down. This movie was horrible. We give it 2 fingers up.
I have mixed feelings about it. Oh,
that would be awesome.
I don't watch all the new movies though. I have my favorite classic movies that I watch. There's like a list of 5 movies that I go back and rewatch every time. And by the way, I'm going to be watching Dave again soon because I think it's just so appropriate right now with what's going on, the presidential elections. Can I say hi to Cindy?
I'm trying not to talk so we don't show her in her bathrobe on camera, but apparently it's going to happen. It's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, she's completely covered. She's good. She probably doesn't realize that we're broadcasting live.
I don't think she realizes that we are broadcasting live. And then
maybe if I play the Life is Hard podcast theme right now, it'll just cover this up. Nobody will know.
Life is hard, but it could be worse. Life is hard, but it could be worse.
Okay, there you go. It's kind of like, have you seen the movie Life Aquatic?
No.
With Bill Murray. No, is it Bill Murray? Bob? Fuck. Yeah, I think it's Bill Murray. Is that the guy? Yeah. I think it's Bill Murray. I sometimes get my comedians confused, but it's
I didn't leave the door open. Well, Vance went in here.
Who blame it on Vance? He was in here.
Okay, well, I hope it didn't get on there.
Oh, there's nothing. No, I would tell you if there's anything. You fill my whole screen, so if there's anything,
my goodness,
if there was anything going on, I'd let you know. That or I would just, be drinking constantly. Be like, Rob. So no, on the more serious note, the Life Aquatic, there's a scene in there that almost matches this. What we're doing, because he you have to see the movie, but he's trying to impress this reporter with the fact that they're diving, right? They're like a Jacques Cousteau knockoff, but in a spoof version. So anyway, they're getting ready to go diving. They've got their headphones that they use to communicate, and he goes, and I added it. He goes, we took this from Jacques Cousteau or something, and then I added my own special feature, the built-in radio, right? He pulls up a little antenna, and they start playing music, right? So here they are. If you can imagine Bill Murray standing there in a wetsuit that's kind of anatomically correct, right? And he's like standing there with this just they're playing this music, and he's kind of like doing this little hip thing, just very subtle, like it's fucking, the whole movie's ridiculous.
What
It's
movie is
awesome.
this?
The Life Aquatic.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, it's an old movie, but it's good.
It probably came out before we were born.
It's got Willem Dafoe in it.
Oh yeah, then definitely it's older than us.
It's a great movie. It's
Much older.
Well, they had to probably been some space and time for that one too.
It's a great movie, so we won't be reviewing it.
No, because I'd have to definitely give it 2 fingers up.
Well, no, that would mean it was really bad.
I don't know how to. Our metrics don't work. Like
we don't have anything for good. That's why we don't review good movies.
That's right. But anyway, I have a handful of favorite movies that I watch. I just don't. The new movies all suck. I mean, they just. We could review almost every new movie that came out. Chances are I'd be giving them all, fingers and thumbs. Because they're all like reruns. They're remaking, Batman, Superman, the Batman versus Superman. What the hell is that all about?
That came from the comics. I mean, the comics did that all the time, and I'm not a big comic book person, but they did do like Hulk versus Thor, or Justice League versus Injustice League, or whatever the case is. So it's all derived from the comics, and the comics are so all over the place. And that's why they can't get their story straight when they make a movie and they take liberties with the background story, because the comics did that too. The one comic would come out telling the backstory of Spider-Man, and then 20 years later, they come out with a new comic retelling the backstory of Superman and kind of update it and take liberties with it. I mean, Spider-Man, whoever.
Yeah. They're all the same.
And that's why the movies are hashing and rehashing. And I agree to a certain point. I mean, it gets kind of old having them do Superman 800 times. And
the other thing is they're just trying to reuse the same franchise to make money. It's a formulaic thing. Every fucking movie that comes out today from the major producers, not necessarily the independents, but the majors, are all formula movies. They're all based on, they're a sequel to something that was successful, or they're a remake of something that was successful, or they're an action movie with a very predictable plot and just a lot of moving parts, blowing.
Yeah, there's a big contingent of ones that are based on books. That's about the only exception, I think, to that.
But nobody reads books anymore, so that's why they have to make those.
Well, thank God they make them. I don't read books. Well, why waste your time reading a book and take 4 days to find out what you can find out in 2 hours watching a movie?
You drive me to drink, Rob.
I've gathered that.
I can't. Books are much better than movies.
Sure,
Sorry.
if you're in 1836.
Have you seen Nim's Island?
Yes, I think I have. I don't remember caring for it.
Oh, it's sweet. It's
The
one of those
one where the
movies that
little
makes
kid.
little kids on the island, and her dad kind of gets lost for a while, and then she gets a hold of the writer that writes the adventure books that she reads.
Yeah, that's.
It's so funny though, because the writer is agoraphobic, and she's supposed to be this adventure hero, right? And of course, she's not. She's a female. Anyway, the point is, I think it's hilarious, and then it's kind of a sweet story in the end. It's a kid's story. I mean, it's not really anything to be taken seriously.
Yeah, it didn't excite me too much. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, I just like it. I think I like the cinematography. I like the story. But like I said, that's not on my list of favorite movies. It's just one that I, fall back on when somebody's being sad and despondent. I'm like, you have to watch Nim's Island.
Oh, I go for Monty Python then.
I don't know. Monty Python is pretty cynical.
Well, but they're hilarious.
They're hilarious, but they're cynical. I mean, you're left with this, like the world is a disaster kind of thing. Everybody's fucked up. Like nobody can count to 5 anymore. Not even the royal.
That's the best part.
I know. But he has to know things like would that be a European or an African swallow? It's like, how did you know that? The king.
Have to know these things when you're a king.
No, Monty Python is, I mean, that's classic. There's no doubt. It's on my, list of classics. But like I said, I have to rewatch Dave. I know you've rewatched it recently. I just think there's so much. Dave brings me hope. When I see that, I'm like, maybe someday somebody will figure out how to just bootstrap the government.
Yeah, all we have to do is find somebody who looks identical to the president.
Yes.
And have the government need them, and then have them be,
a normal guy.
Awesome enough to be able to enact some change and, like set up the guys who are trying to wrangle the power away from the president to begin with.
Dave was just a regular guy. That's the thing. I mean, he was just a regular guy. He didn't have any superpowers. He didn't.
Well, he had some balls, is what he had, because he ended up taking on the entire establishment and winning. He had balls and
course. Yeah, of course, everything worked in his favor, like it always does when you have a script. But I just like that movie. It gives me, a sense of maybe in some alternate universe, maybe some parallel universe, there's hope.
Yes, in a parallel universe, life is
parallel.
Life is easy. The gravitational waves work in the opposite direction, and we all float.
No, in a parallel universe, if we're heads, they're tails.
Who's tails?
The people in the parallel universe. Oh, maybe we're the tails and they're the heads.
Well, we'd be in the universe either way, wouldn't we?
In the alternate universe or the universe?
Sure. Either one, both. We would be in both. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a parallel universe.
Oh, you think there's an alternate version of me?
Sure.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. We're doing the Life is Easy podcast in the parallel universe. Your life is easy. We got it made.
Do you think I have a mustache?
Do I think you have in the parallel universe?
Yeah.
Only on certain days.
I probably have darker hair. You remember the Star Trek episode where they went to the parallel universe and they were their evil selves?
No, but you got me started on this because I don't remember if we even talked about this on a podcast or not, but we were talking about how the 5-year mission was only 3 seasons.
Exactly.
And I thought, only 3 seasons. I'll watch them on Netflix, right? Well, it turns out that Netflix has Star Trek, the original.
Yes, and the Next Generation.
Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager.
You haven't been trying to watch them all, have you?
Well, hold on. So there's one called Enterprise, right?
Yeah,
which has Scott Bakula, and it's supposed to happen in
That's the movie.
No. It's a series, and it happens before Kirk and his time, right? Like in real life, it was filmed much.
Well,
later.
they made a movie that was the beginning of the thing.
Well, so we've gone all the way back to the Scott Bakula one, Captain Jonathan Archer one, and have started watching that from the beginning. When we are finished with the 4 seasons of that, we will then pick up the 3 seasons of Star Trek, move on to Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, etc. So before the end of all this, I will know what you're talking about.
Well, you only needed the original Star Trek series to know what I was talking about.
I can't watch them out of order. I've got to. It's like,
oh my God,
it'd be like starting with episode 4 on Star Wars. You just can't do it. You have to start with episode 1.
All those ones that you claim are the beginning weren't there unless you time warped.
I know. That's the funny thing about gravitational waves and bending the time-space continuum.
Yeah, who knew that Netflix figured it out before anybody else did?
They did. Netflix and Star Trek had it solved years ago.
Personally, I'm liking the flat Earth theory because I still think that's how the parallel universe works. Like we're on the disc.
Did you see that came up lately too? That came up recently.
Oh yeah.
The one rapper guy. I don't remember his name, but there's a rapper guy that's tweeting about how the Earth is flat, and Neil deGrasse Tyson even got involved.
Well, actually, that was the part that I saw was Neil deGrasse Tyson's arguments against him.
Right, but who brought that up first? We did, right here on the Life is Hard podcast, episode
Right.
number 1. We were
Was it-
talking about flat Earth way before Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about flat Earth.
Was it the first episode?
It was the very first episode. It
I
was
burned
hour-long debacle that was the first episode.
all the brain cells I had in that episode are gone now.
Yes, because your brain cells regenerate every 3 days. I'm not even sure that's a scientific fact, but it is now because I said so.
I just killed them. That's all. It's all because of our drinking game.
Yes. Well, you've been playing it on lots of different words tonight. I don't know what you're going to make the drinking word, but somebody's going to be drinking along with you.
Well, I hope they can keep up because this will be gone before we're done.
I don't know. I think we should.
Wrap it up. Do you hear
Yeah.
hear the music playing? Hold on.
Life is hard,
Yeah,
There we go.
our cue.
but it could be worse.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this
Life is
unique
hard.
episode.
Yeah.
If you really like us, like it this way, let us
Life
know,
is
and
hard.
maybe we'll do this again.
There'll be more of these to come, unfortunately.
Life is
Life
hard.
is hard, and I don't have a way to get to the studio.
It's been getting harder. Okay, so I'm gonna fade this out. Ready? Oh, it's too late.
Yep, it faded out. All right, I guess we're done.
Awkward moment.
All right. See you next time.